Chapter 9. And 18 days passed by. Then Satan was wroth and transformed himself into the brightness of angels, and went away to the river Tigris to Eve, and found her weeping. And the devil himself pretended to grieve with her, and he began to weep, and said to her, Come out of the river, and lament no more. Cease now from sorrow and moans. Why art thou anxious, and thy husband Adam? The Lord God hath heard your groaning, and hath accepted your penitence. And all we angels have entreated on your behalf, and made supplication to the Lord, and he hath sent me to bring you out of the water, and give you the nourishment which you had in paradise, and for which you are crying out. Now come out of the water, and I will conduct you to the place where your victual hath been made ready. Chapter 10. But Eve heard and believed, and went out of the water of the river, and her flesh was trembling like grass from the chill of the water. And when she had gone out, she fell on the earth, and the devil raised her up and led her to Adam. But when Adam had seen her, and the devil with her, he wept and cried aloud and said, O Eve, Eve, where is the labor of thy penitence? How hast thou been again ensnared by our adversary, by whose means we have been estranged from our abode in paradise and spiritual joy? Chapter 11. And when she heard this, Eve understood that it was the devil who had persuaded her to go out of the river, and she fell on her face on the earth, and her sorrow and groaning and wailing were redoubled. And she cried out and said, Woe unto thee, thou devil! Why dost thou attack us for no cause? What hast thou to do with us? What have we done to thee? For thou pursuest us with craft. Or why doth thy malice assail us? Have we taken away thy glory, and caused thee to be without honor? Why dost thou harry us, thou enemy, and persecute us to the death in wickedness and envy? Chapter 12. The Fall of the Devil. And with a heavy sigh the devil spake, O Adam, all my hostility, envy, and sorrow is for thee, since it is for thee that I have been expelled from my glory, which I possessed in the heavens in the midst of the angels, and for thee was I cast out in the earth. Adam answered, What dost thou tell me? What have I done to thee, or what is my fault against thee? Seeing that thou hast received no harm or injury from us, why dost thou pursue us? Chapter 13. The devil replied, Adam, what dost thou tell me? It is for thy sake that I have been hurled from that place. When thou wast formed, I was hurled out of the presence of God and banished from the company of the angels. When God blew into thee the breath of life, and thy face and likeness was made in the image of God, Michael also brought thee and made us worship thee in the sight of God. And God the Lord spake, Here is Adam. I have made thee in our image and likeness. Chapter 14. And Michael went out and called all the angels, saying, Worship the image of God as the Lord God hath commanded. And Michael himself worshipped first. Then he called me and said, Worship the image of God the Lord. And I answered, I have no need to worship Adam. And since Michael kept urging me to worship, I said to him, Why dost thou urge me? I will not worship an inferior and younger being than I. I am his senior in the creation. Before he was made was I already made. It is his duty to worship me.